in the game. It's physically easier than a forehand. When you hit a forehand, the arm is coming across the body. There's a slight pinch in the shoulder, and you have to give it a little oomph to get that arm through. But on a one-handed backhand, the arm is going away from the body with a nice, free, easy movement. And even though the backhand is physically easier, many times that's not the case mentally. It can be a tougher shot. My goal is to help you get over that lack of confidence and to make the backhand a shot that you can hit with power, with consistency, and a shot that you truly enjoy. Semi-Western grip. Now with a semi-Western grip, we're going to go to number 2 on this side. I call it a semi-Western grip. Actually, this grip has been used well by the South Americans. Gabriela Sabatini, Gustavo Kuerten have used this grip with great success. So now we take the X's and we'll put the X's on number 2. And now you'll notice the racket face is automatically closed. So this takes the guesswork out of it. You don't have to even close the racket face a little bit. When you go to number 2, the racket face is closed, and remember, if you're closed at the low point of your backswing, it guarantees a vertical racketed contact. Once you get the racket back, when you get to this position, many players just fire the muscles forward, and that's difficult to do. It's kind of like trying to get an old car to go from 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. It's difficult. So once you get to this position here, rotate the shoulders back this way. Pull the racket back. Get the racket moving. If you can get the racket moving 10 to 15 miles per hour back here, that's going to make your swing a lot faster. And remember, racket speed is what gives you power. So once you get to this position, don't just fire the muscles forward. You want to pull the racket back. Remember, you're going to come back, then where are you going to go? Down, the front foot's going to step out. Back, down, and then just throw the arm. Okay, I'm going to practice showing my racket now behind my back. If you notice, remember, you don't want to just stop here and then swing forward. You want to get the racket moving. Now notice here, now you can see the racket behind my back. See it back there? Then you just throw the arm. Now remember, when you practice this, you don't want to go, hey, there's the racket, stop, and then swing, because you're defeating the purpose. Remember, this movement here gets the racket moving. It's going to give you more power. By the time the racket reaches this position, the racket is going about 10 or 15 miles per hour and picking up speed fast. So that's the idea. Remember, show the racket behind the back. And when you do this, you have to pull the racket back from your shoulder. That's crucial. You don't want to bring it back from the elbow or use the wrist. Keep the hitting arm extended and pull the racket back from the shoulder. So just try and show your racket to your opponent on the other side, or if you're working with a pro, show the racket behind your back and then just let it go. Okay, here we go. I'm going to practice a few. I'm just trying to show the racket behind my back here.
Notice the hitting arm is extended, rotating at the shoulder as the racket comes into view behind my back.
Okay, remember, if you're exerting a lot of effort on that one-hander, you're doing something wrong. This one-hander should be like an effortless type shot, but you're still generating tremendous racket speed. I mean, you look at the backhands of Gustavo Kuerten, Guga, I call him the founder of the modern backhand. Federer, Henin, Schiavone. Tremendous racket speed, but not a lot of effort. The arm's going away from the body. Now, what are the differences between the modern backhand and old school? Number one, the grip. The grip is more extreme. You're over more on the grip. I call it a semi-Western backhand, where the racket face closes up. more backswing. Huge backswing back here. Pulling that racket back and getting it down, you get an extra 20 or more miles per hour on your swing. Remember, racket speed equals power and speed on your shots. Now the timing on the old school backhand, you've got a certain timing to that because, you know, it's just here, stop, and then go. So there's a timing to that. You turn, you stop, and you go. But you'll never develop that racket head speed to give you an offensive weapon with the backhand. Now with the modern backhand, there's a timing to the swing, and that's the toughest part that I find for my students to grasp. The timing's different now because you're pulling the racket back more and down. So this part here, you have to figure out when to start that so you're right there, boom, when the ball is there. So that's the toughest part, the timing. But once you master that, you're going to have an awesome backhand. So remember that big backswing, you're coming back here and down, right there. And then the last thing is the finish. Old school backhand, the finish was more belly button to the side fence. Now, belly button's facing the net on the finish. The finish is coming way around on the finish. So in other words, it's here all the way around this on the finish. So the belly button's now facing the net. You have to be careful with that because you still want to create that whip effect, the kinetic chain, the uncoiling of the kinetic chain. So that happens from the ground up. So when I coil here, okay, now I'm coiled right now, ready to explode into this shot. Now the knee's going to stop. When the knee stops, the hips pick up speed. It's that whip effect. When I throw a whip, my hand stops, the whip goes. So here, I've coiled here. Now when the knee stops, the hips pick up. When the hip stops, the upper body's still going. When the upper body stops, then the arm goes out. And then you can come around on your finish. But you don't want to come around too soon because you'll lose that whip effect. So it's a coiling here. Stop the upper body right before contact. That way the arm will go out fast if you stop the upper body. If the upper body swings around too early, you're not going to get that little extra speed you would by stopping the upper body and letting the arm go out. So, but on the finish, you're just relaxing. Here's the hit. Now the ball's gone at this point, so there's no need to hold the upper body here. You can just let it come around. And it's more relaxing. It keeps you flowing better by finishing like that. So I'll just hit a few. You see, right here, back there. If you can see that little extra swing I'm taking right there. Sorry. That little extra swing right there. And the finish is coming around more. Deep on that one. There we go. That was a good hit. Coming around on the finish.